Hello, welcome to Oracle of the Future. I'm the Oracle for the world. Okay? So, welcome. This is a channel, this is a platform where you will find the truth. This video is to not alarm anyone, it's just to prepare everybody and to help them understand what's about to transpire. I'm an Oracle of the world, for the world, where I am meant to be the guide. I am meant to be, I guess, you guys, mentor, spiritual guide, however you want to call it. I am meant to be that for you guys can understand what's about to happen. On my channel, what we do is we decode God messages, which is the Bible, and any messages that God has spread throughout this world and everywhere that He left His message, we will decode it. The first thing that will help us all is His biggest clue, which is the Bible. Think of the Bible as the dictionary to all the codes and all the messages of God. It's all stored in the Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament. Okay, based off my decoding so far, we're not just going to use the traditional Bible. Okay, the traditional Bible holds a lot of details and information, but that's not the only resource we're going to use throughout this journey that we're all going to go through. Okay, so I just wanted to make that clear. The Bible is not the only resources we're going to use to decode God messages. But the Bible is not the only resources that we're going to use to decode God messages, but think of the Bible as the dictionary, the map. Okay, we're going to use it, the Old Testament and the New Testament. Okay, I also know that we're going to use the Quran eventually, but we're not there yet. Right now, we're all in the Old Testament. That is what we're starting at, is the Old Testament, particularly the story of Moses. That is where we're going to start. For some reason, God wants to leave Genesis for right now. I don't know I don't know when we're going to decode it together, Genesis, but we're going to get to that eventually. But right now, what I intuitively got the download was Genesis is going to be on hold. Okay, but right now we're in the story of Moses, which is Exodus. It starts in Exodus, I believe. So we're decoding Exodus and Leviticus. We have to do it together, you guys. I can't do it alone. I'm meant to be the guide for you guys. I can't give you guys answers. I only can give you guys clues and direction. That's it. I can only give you clues and direction. I can't give you the answers, the code. I can't give you guys the answer to the code, but I can lead you, guide you, and direct you to His messages, His code, the actual code, and give you guys clues. That is what my duty is. Okay, so we do have a code that we need to decode as a collective. This is the first code. Keep in mind, I have been decoding God messages on my own, little here and little there, and I have on my platform as well. We were trying to decode Jason. There's something within thriller movies and scary movies that God had left messages in, but that's going to be put on hold for right now, because God wants me and you guys, particularly there's a particular group He wants to start off with, which I'm going to get to, but He wants us to focus on the Bible first. Okay, the Bible is like a dictionary and a map. It's a reference book. Okay, but He wants us to pay attention to Exodus and Leviticus at this time, the story of Moses. Those two stories, we need to know more about Moses, who he was, and why he written that story. There's clues, there's messages, and there's a code in that. So that's the first code. We have to decode the story of Moses. But within the story of Moses, the first code is, what is the Tabernacle? What is the Tabernacle? In the story of Moses, it was brought up something called the Tabernacle. What is it? Do not take it. Yes, you can read the story of Moses and then do your decoding, but you guys can take things literal. There's a code in the word Tabernacle. There's a meaning to the word Tabernacle. There's a message to the word Tabernacle. Okay, so that's the first code. We have to decode what is the Tabernacle. The people that he wants to decode this particular message, the first group is black people, African American people, Haitian, Caribbean, people who are melanated. He wants them, us, because I'm melanated as well, he wants us to decode what is the Tabernacle. This is the first code of his message. We, as a collective, as a group, black people, we have to decode the Tabernacle, because only us can do it. Only us will know what that is. It's something within our culture, something that is embedded in us that we should know about Tabernacle. That's all I know to provide for you guys so far. Okay, so we as black people have to decode the word Tabernacle. Okay, what it means. What does the Tabernacle mean? Why did he write that part in the story of Moses, Tabernacle? All he wants us to do is figure out what is Tabernacle. What is Tabernacle? What does it mean? It's a message, you guys. We have to decode that, and he wants black people to do that. Keep in mind, you guys, this is a test. I mentioned this on my channel that we're all going to be tested. There's going to be a time and point where we're all going to be tested, and the time is now. Us decoding is the test. Like, we are decoding his messages. That's the test that we're taking, is decoding his messages. However, if we are able to decode his message, he said that we get a blessing. When I mean he said is, I get intuitive downloads, knowledge. This is something that I know. We get a blessing if we decode it. If we fail to decode that message collectively, we have to do it together. If we fail to do that, then we get a calamity. So if we pass the test, which means if we decode his message, we get a blessing, as the whole world will get a blessing. It doesn't matter if you're black or whatever, the whole world will get a blessing. If we fail to decode this, the whole world will get a calamity. Okay, it's very important that we work together. Keep in mind, black people are not the only one that's meant to decode the Bible. That's not what I'm saying. But we are the first group that he wants us to decode. This particular message is, what is the Tabernacle? He gave this code, this message, this clue, particularly for black people. We, as a collective, all black people, have to decode this. And we not only do we have to decode it, it will determine if we pass or fail. If we pass, the whole world will get a blessing, not just black people, the whole world. If we fail to decode this, the whole world will get a calamity. So we have to work together, okay? So the first code is, what is the Tabernacle? So throughout this, us decoding this, I'm going to provide clues. I'm going to guide you to the right direction, because somehow, some way, I'm able to decode this. I was chosen to be the guide for the world. I was chosen to be the oracle for the world. God gave me a gift to help the world decode this. So we're going to do that. Okay? Keep in mind, there is a time, there's a clock. We can't see the clock, but there's a clock. We don't know the deadline, but it's ticking. So today is the date that I gave you guys this clue, or this code. Today is September 16, 2024. The code starts today. The clock starts today. I don't know how, like, what it counts down to, like how long we get. I don't know. But I have a feeling. But he will let me know throughout our decoding the deadline. I know that we will eventually get the deadline. But right now we have to decode. Like, we have time to do that. Today is September 16, 2024, and this is the first message, the first code that God wants us to decode. What is the Tabernacle? This code is particularly given to black people to decode. If we fail to decode it, we get a calamity, the whole world. If we decode the message, this code, the whole world would get a blessing. So it all depends on us. Black people are the first group to go first. We are the first group to go first, so we have to work together. What is the Tabernacle? That's the message. What is the Tabernacle? What does it really mean? What does it really mean? So on my channel, what we use to decode, first thing first, we use the map, the reference book, the dictionary, which is the Bible. This is the map that God given us. This is the dictionary that God given us. This is what will help us through this decoding process, this journey that we're all about to go through, the whole world. The Bible will help us. So we use the Bible. Another thing that we use is number. I'm going to use number cards because numerology is another thing that we will use. God loves numbers. So we're going to use numerology. I'm going to be using number cards to help us. Another thing we're going to use is my gift. I am an oracle for the world. I have a gift. So we're going to use that as well. And the last thing is etymology. Decoding the names, words. We're going to use that. There's a lot of things we're going to use, but these are the first things. Keep in mind, you guys, there's a countdown. I don't know the deadlines, and I feel like that's the reason why I don't know the deadline, or us in general don't know the deadline to this. But there's a clock. Okay, so what we use to help us on my channel to decode God messages is obviously the first thing is the Bible. The Bible that contains the Old Testament and the New Testament, okay? We're going to decode both of those. But right now we're starting the Old Testament. We use the Bible. The Bible is our reference book. It's our dictionary. It's the map, okay? So think of that. The Bible is our first, it's like our textbook, okay? That all the students of this world need is the Bible. The second thing that we do is numerology. Numerology, numbers. God loves numbers. He loves numbers. And to the point where there's a chapter in the Old Testament when he talks about numbers. So when we get into that chapter, the numbers, and we get into those messages, I'm going to be bringing out. Okay, so keep in mind, when we get to numbers, I will be using my number cards, and I will be using a lot of numerology knowledges of the way that God want us to learn it. Okay, so I will bring that out. We're also going to be using astrology. Astrology is important. There was some type of word that was brought up when I was decoding Jason. Okay, NATO. I learned that that's the actual real word of NATO. Okay, which is natal charts and astrology. But there's something with the character Jason from Friday the 13th. Again, God messages is in every, it's not in everything, but it's everywhere. Okay, so I know astrology plays a part, so we're going to use a lot of astrology. Now, the other thing that we're going to use is etymology, like I just kind of did with the word NATO and NATO. Okay, so there's something with etymology, decoding words, sound, okay, syllables as well. There's another form of this, but I just don't know what it's called. But we're going to be decoding what it means, like names, sound, okay? Sounding out names. I think there's a name for that, but I just don't know. But we're going to be using that as well. Etymology, astrology, numerology. We're going to be using tarot as well. There's a code in there. We're going to use something with the chakras as well. That plays a part. I have to write this down, so that's what I'm writing. Okay. Chakras, and then obviously the Bible. So those are the reference clues. our dictionary that we're going to use is the Bible. So that's going to help us throughout this. The last thing I wanted to mention, again, there's a countdown. We need to work together. It's very specific. That was disclosed to me during this decoding and this having this inner knowing with my gift is God wants us to work together. Something about unity, unification. He likes us working together. He doesn't like when we are separated from each other. That is not of His kind. He wants us to be solid. He wants us together, a solid foundation, a strong foundation. So we need to work together. Although the first message, the first code that God wants us to decode, what is a Tabernacle, is for specifically Black people to decode, the whole world can also participate as well to help. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to stand by or make fun, whatever. You can help as well. He likes when we are unified. So that I know. Don't ask me how. It just I know things. It's my gift.